let's go ahead and call the meeting order. Start off with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum. We have the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the February 12th board meeting. Just need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 12th.
I'll second.
I will abstain because I was not there. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's resolution. Okay. Back to you guys. All right. Next up, we got department head reports, township assistants, and human resources. I'll just announce it both at the same time. That way you don't have to feel.
So first off, township assistants, just as steady as always. You do see that there's more in the pending than there was or normally is. That's just because of the timing of this meeting. Those all have been resolved by now. But when this report was put together, those cases were still pending. So any questions about the township assistants report for February?
Nope.
Okay.
If I can chime in real
Sure.
quick, not just this report, but I know for fire and parks reports as well. This meeting, last month's meeting have both been a little earlier in the month than we typically have. And so you've probably noticed as you've gone through your packets that we don't have all of the usual information from the previous month readily available. And that's just because it does take time to get that put together. I believe after this meeting, we're back to that closer to the third week of the month timeframe for the rest of our meetings. And so I would expect that the reports moving forward for the rest of this year probably be a little bit closer to what you're used to seeing as far as the information that we do make available for you.
Okay, cool.
So on to human resources, we had 4 new hires for the month of February, 3 extended care and 1 paramedic, and then 1 retirement and 1 resignation of 2 firefighters. Any questions about the HR report?
I do not. You guys have any?
No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Parks.
Alrighty, we will go ahead and get started. Oh, that's the wrong one. Should be the one that's horizontal.
That's what we
That's
have.
okay. I will
Yeah.
give updates. So for Murphy, we are up in revenue by $10, and in 2026, we're counting all wins. So this is a good trend. We are way ahead of our schedule that we do, and actually cabanas have started to go up as of today. We got our tough floor coating in the family restrooms and then also in our lifeguard area. And then we installed a pergola in our concessions area for shade. And this is going to limit the amount of umbrellas we have to purchase each year, which we're all excited about because for whatever reason, we are in a wind tunnel and it takes every umbrella it can. So we're really excited. It looks really nice. And we're ahead of schedule. As we get to PCAR, the archery range is finished. We had planned to open it on Tuesday, but due to the rain, we pushed it to Monday. So Monday at 11 a.m., we will be going live. Ryan will be there too. He's going to do the first bow at the archery range. And so
No
make
pressure.
sure you log on.
I never shot a bow and arrow before. Get that out there.
I was gonna say we might want to have.
Yep, this will be a first for me.
Okay.
Should be fun.
We are all excited, and we had all 4 of our archery people are trained and certified in teaching archery, and we have added it to our field trips. So we've gotten a lot more field trips because of the archery range. And then we are adding additional education displays for this year. When we get to programming, We are planning a summer guide. So the summer guide will be digital, and it will also we'll have printed copies as well. And this will go from May all the way until August. So we have all of our programming planned all the way to the month of August. And then we are planning all of our Easter events, and those are already underway. Still looking for an Easter bunny if anybody is interested. For our maintenance report, the concrete pad has been poured for the putt-putt area, and we're hoping to open that up at the end of April, early May. And then between March and May will be our prescribed burn, and we're doing that with Turner Forestry, and that is the same company that does the Hendricks County burns for the park that they have in North Salem. We are going to get a 24-hour notice for that, just because it is very weather dependent. So I have notified all of the police department, the town, the fire department, but I will be sending out a message to everybody so everyone knows when that's happening. We also sent letters to all surrounding neighbors, and any of those neighbors that are interested are joining our newsletter for just the neighbors, so that they are also going to be notified 24 hours in advance. And it will be really cool to see. Levi's going to come out and fly his drone as well, so that'll be really neat. And we'll be able to add some of that footage to our social media. And then for camp, spring camp has already opened. We also hosted our 5th annual camp summit. This year we had almost 70 people attend that camp. We're hoping to expand that and use our camp barn as well next year. And then the Lilly Summer Science Camp has actually asked us to up our maximum numbers. So next month, we're going to come back for a salary resolution change, and that's just because we have to add more counselors, because we were already at our cap for counselors last year. And then as we get into marketing, we have officially our new website went live as of last month. And so because of that, we actually have 130 new subscribers to our social media page. And I will send out the updated monthly report to everybody. I have 2 of them. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I did one long ways and I did one sideways, and so that's my fault too. Any questions about the board report or the revenue report? And I did fix those lines, Steve, that you were talking about.
All right, thank you. Just one request, and then I might solve your other issue with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be a video taken of the ceremonial first arrow, and if
there is.
if the target is not struck, maybe there's your Easter Bunny. Just ideas.
All right, we will note that request.
No pressure. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we're here for ideas
Yeah,
and
it's a
strategic
think tank.
thoughts. Yeah.
And if it does hit, then the sitting board president
Oh, yeah.
volunteering is.
All right, I will let Allison know.
Yeah, sounds like the search is over.
All right.
Any
thank
other
you.
questions? All right, thank you.
All right. Fire.
Hey, I won't call you tonight, that way you go home and practice. You guys have our annual reports. I didn't have those last week, so I'm not going to go through them, but you have them to go through. I think I sent PDF versions before anyway, so good there. Again, brief report. I have the January run totals that we didn't have in the February meeting. Couple quick points. We'll go a little bit out of order. First paragraph, obviously minimal report for the February meeting for this meeting because it was so close to February. And we're excited for the grand reopening of Station 143. It looks very similar to the first opening, so we're not going to have another open house. It's just drier this time, I guess. Yeah, there's a couple products that were a little different because they didn't have the exact product had been discontinued since the remodel, but yeah, we were close enough.
Is there an official date yet?
For
They're back in it.
oh, we're in.
Oh, they're
no, we're good. We're good.
okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just not going to have another party for it. So
Gotcha. Okay. No, I know.
Quiet
No, okay.
reopening.
yeah, it's the opening of the same one, just newer again.
That was a pretty quick turnaround.
Um,
I mean,
Yeah, it was a really quick turnaround for sure. Some of the time was actually Chief Phipps going in and picking them apart, and I think they're still punch listing some things, right? So yeah, they'll be working on it for another year, but that's okay. They did a good job. He'll get up here in a few and talk more about our projects, and I do want to have Chief Phipps come up and update you guys on everything because our report is so short. Told him it was going to be 25 minutes. Again, the architecture reviews or interviews are on the radar, but obviously 143's put a little damper on that. Just for all of your information, outside of us meeting with elected officials, that's going to continue. It's picked up pretty steadily, and Representative Thompson wants us to meet with him and Representative Snow over 1210. So we'll be doing that. That's kind of the DLGF bill, if you will, and it's got a lot of things that happen positive for us. He did give us a seat at the table by saying if 51% of the runs in your area are covered by full-time fire departments, then you shall receive public safety lit. There was a couple curveballs in there. There's a section of the bill on section 122 of House Bill 1210 talks about a must calculation. I don't remember what the acronym stands for, MUST. But the bottom line is each county could create their own formula. Remember the complicated police and fire lit formula, or public fire and EMS lit formula. We could have made it more complicated or more simple, but that has to start March 1st, has to be done by October 1st. There's a lot of things. I talked to Representative Thompson while I was talking to Peters. They said, don't worry about that. They don't think it'll apply to our county. They did that for some other counties that requested it. So we're going to stick with our budget forecast to our old forecasting model from last year, because that's what's going to apply to the county, they think. But what happened is we opened up the ability to do it totally different, which makes forecasting impossible because it won't be done until October 1st of this year. Bills are fun. So, but outside of that, I've got another bill I want to go over with you just for information based on a conversation I had with Mr. Blacketer.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
The 1210, they did push the lid down.
I don't think as many people braved this because they were blocked into the driveway from the plowing and the amount of snow. So maybe that was it, but I think he's going to check with some of them and see what we come up with and see if it was just us or them. But yeah, a little bit down then, and we're also kind of trending down, it looks like, in February as well. I'm under no false pretense that we're not slowing down. So we're okay there. But yeah, we've slowed down for now. So before I bring Chief Phipps up to talk about building, there's a piece of paper I gave each one of you about 1044. So Senate Bill 1044, that's a bill that did go into legislation. This is a one-page summary of the bill, but it's going to require us to provide health insurance as if the employee plus their dependents never left the department at the same cost, not to be treated differently in any way. For anybody who was pensioned off on a disability pension all the way back to the year 2020. Right now for us, I think that could impact about 3 people. But again, when you look at our bills for insurance, it's about $30,000 a year per family. So again, that's an unbudgeted cost of potentially $30,000 per family. The bigger problem with this bill is it simply classifies disability as class 1 or class 2. And that's as it pertains to the 1977 fund. That could be somebody with a, I don't know, maybe we hurt our knee or a shoulder and we're just not going to ride a rig again, but we walk and talk just like you, and I could do any of your positions for a career, but I can't ride a fire truck. You can still go out and have meaningful gainful employment, or substantial gainful employment, as they say in the Social Security realm, but we are still liable for insurance, even if you have an ability to go out and earn. And it doesn't exclude them from that insurance, even if they're able to get it from another employer. It does exclude their family members if they can get it elsewhere, but who's going to police that? There's no policing mechanism. There's no funding mechanism. It just falls back on us as local government. And they retroacted it back to 2020. I provided alternate legislation. Chief Phipps and I were on the phone quite a while with the FOP chair because there was little faith left in the PFFUI, and couldn't get a call back from the Fire Chiefs Association until after the fact, which we did meet with them downtown and their lobbyist after the bill had already passed. But in the FOP chair, he agreed to listen to us. He said, yeah, I'm not going to do legwork, but you proposed something. So we proposed it. We sent it back. What we said was, let's not tie it to the pension. Class 1, class 2 is very vague. But if somebody is unable to perform substantial gainful employment, paralyzed, brain damage, anything like that, short of death, we should probably take care of them. We could stomach that. We could provide their insurance. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But somebody collecting insurance and a pension just simply to do nothing when they're capable, I don't agree with. But guess what? We gave that to legislators. They listened to it firsthand. They agreed in a setting that wasn't public, but nobody wanted to be the person to say that in public because this bill was written for one person, one disabled police officer, and it was put in emergency status. And that person was catastrophic. That person deserves what they get as far as coverage, but nobody wants to be the bad guy. And those that listened to it and said they agreed still chose to vote for it and said they had to vote for it. Otherwise, it would be political suicide. Well, that's going to come back on our bankrolls. So they protect their election, but that money has to come from somewhere. And that's just something that's unfortunate. And as we sit around and figure out how these laws work, presence is key. And we'll have a seat at the table now. We'll assure that. They will listen. And sometimes you have to say unpopular things. Do I want to take care of our people? Absolutely. Do I think people who are disabled in line of duty deserve to be taken care of? Absolutely. But it's kind of like SB1. Whenever it went in with a little forethought in the implementation. They just took an idea, pushed it forward, and they'll deal with the repercussions later. That's kind of what we're going to do with this. We're going to create a repercussion backdated to 2020, implemented June 30th of this year, and deal with it. The problem is small departments, and it says it in this write-up as you go through it, they're going to be impacted even worse than the bigger departments. So for us, 90 grand, can we stomach it? Yeah, we could find that somewhere. But can Danville stomach the same 90 grand on their budget? Can Pittsburgh stomach it on their budget? And whenever they look around the state, we're standing up talking. We're standing up and complaining, if you will, or saying what's reasonable. But nobody else is coming out and talking. And this is where I've called an action to everybody here. And we've called around the county and said, we got to wake up and start being present with our legislators because they're passing stuff in bills and they're not looking at the regard. And like we told Representative Thompson in his office and Representative Stewart Wall over breakfast, you're creating cuts on this side of your room. And while you're creating cuts or reform, however you want to look at it, you're adding expense on this side. At what point does that make sense? And that's what's happening. So it's not only House Bill 1044, it's also Senate Bill 69 and a couple of others. There's others that affect different townships and entities much worse than us. You know, we were excluded from some of that language by design, by conversation, and by being present. So now there's a little bit of work to do on the back end. After this is put in, there's reasonableness that can be there. One of the things I brought up in the state setting at the State House was you have a $600 million surplus that you're publishing in the news. If we were to do an average of retirement and aging out of our insurance at Medicare age and how long we would have to carry people, you might reach about $250 million a year. Let the state fund it. But nobody wants to look at that. they've had a surplus of over 500 million every year. So you have the money to do it. Let's set up a trust and look at it. But nobody's looking at the implementation. They're just looking at the idea, passing the bill, and we'll fix it later. So as we start moving forward and we're present at these meetings, there's a different reason besides just being present for the sake of being there. We got to start saying the right things that affect us and taking care of it. So I'll get off my high horse there. But yeah, take that stuff, take it serious. It's been great talking to Bellamy. I think we got to the point now. It's as we go talk and argue, instead of getting very well-formed arguments, which we've been trying to do, let's just be close enough because that's all they're trying to do, right? And it's one of those things that every time I call him, it's like, well, what's next on losing another client? And the same thing as I talk to Peters, right? They're out doing financial analysis and giving financial advice of, hey, you may or may not exist when this is all done. And nobody's hearing that, but also nobody's coming out and telling that story. So it's got to be more than just us. And by us, I mean the three of us in here. So we got to start being present and start picking up speed. And if we have relationships, let's start making those introductions because those meetings need to probably start right now. Chief Phipp's going to come up and talk about building and construction.
Not yet. He's not.
Is he not? What
No.
we got?
We have one other item on the agenda before we get to that.
Oh,
so
go ahead.
you can.
What is it?
It's not for you.
Oh, sorry. I was going to talk about it because it was in my talk here. Got it.
Oh, okay.
We're all good.
Yeah, we'll get you back up here for that.
That's it. It was just going to go into the building because I was going to let him talk about it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, we'll get you back up here for buildings in a minute.
Okay. All right. No old business. New business. First up, we've got resolution 030526-1 401A contributions.
This is just our annual 401A contributions, total of $348,190.50. And you got the breakdown of who gets what based off their class in the 401A retirement plan. Any questions about that or how it was calculated or anything like that?
I do not.
No,
Okay,
same old, same old.
same old, every year.
Okay. Just need a motion to approve.
I move we adopt resolution 030526-01, funding the 2025 pay 2026 401A contribution.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Next up is fire station updates.
Chief. now we got you.
All right, so Station 143, as you're aware, we are back in the station currently. There's a few things outlying. There's some flooring downstairs, kitchen table. It takes 6 or 8 weeks to get it built, some other stuff like that. We're doing a final punch list tomorrow, so that'll be closed out. That was all insurance money on all that stuff. So they're going to go after the sprinkler contractors. Hopefully it comes off of our actual insurance and we get our deductible back and so on and so forth, but it'll probably take a year to get that to happen. Station 5, we did a punch list on about 50% of the building yesterday. They're going to start working on that. Hopefully we can get the bay and the rest of the stuff next week. We're doing weekly meetings now until the end of the month. They're still holding fast on the March 27th date. That's what they're pushing to get done. I've advised them that we're not sold. It didn't have to be on that date. We could push back a week if we needed to, but based on some of the quality issues I was seeing, some kind of rush toward the end here. And I'm like, I'd rather have quality. Let's wait a week if we need to, but they think they can get it done by the 27th. So that's where we're at on that. You guys had a chance to get by. I know some people come by and looked at it.
Not in a bit.
Last month, yeah.
Last month, yeah. It's changed quite a bit
I'm sure.
in the last few weeks. Big push toward the end. So for Station 2, again, that kind of got pushed on the back burner on the interviews. So I was going to try to get with you guys after. We'll see about setting some dates up and get it out to the contractors or to the design team. Sorry. See about getting those interviews going and getting that done. They've been pretty relentless on me wanting to know when we're going to do it. So,
Sure.
so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had somebody contact me at the chamber lunch.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
passed
there's
it
been
along to
several.
you. Yeah.
So, you guys have any questions on that or any
I guess
updates?
with Station 5, I guess, is there an occupancy permit that this town has to issue?
So yeah, we're looking for temporary occupancy. Hopefully next week. Actually, we're gonna try for the temporary, and then they'll do the final after we have landscaping and everything else done on that end.
Okay.
So we should be, like I said, getting close. But, okay. Access road, something after we get certificate of occupancy. The current piece of property has it's our land, but it has a deeded access to the adjoining business. It states in there that we share access, share the drive, we share maintenance costs and any updates to that drive. We've improved that drive to obviously for our needs to the tune of almost $100,000. So once we get a certificate of occupancy, I plan on having Bellamy, we'll send them a letter and see about if they would like to pay for that other half and or relinquish that drive. I'd like them to relinquish the drive. It keeps us from having additional cars coming in face to face with our fire trucks as they're trying to return back into the bays and just cleaning up our lines.
Okay.
So that's something we're going to entertain once we get certificate of occupancy.
In addition to that drive, there's been some other questions that have made it to my office in regard to the potential Walmart family market that's supposed to go right next door to the fire station. I know that it was said in the last plan commission meeting that they have not heard anything from the fire department or the trustee's office in regard to our opinion on the matter. Just for clarification, I have had conversations with the town manager about the potential of the added vehicle traffic, semi-truck traffic, making deliveries coming and going from that facility, what that's going to do to Governor's Row. There was some concern. I believe one of the variances, and I don't see it getting passed. Of course, I have no say in that matter, but one of the variances had an exit or an entrance going out onto Avon Avenue. I can't see the town wanting any part to do with that, with Governor's Row and that roundabout being so close to try to split that with an additional drive. I can't see that happening, which tells me that would then push all of the traffic to Governor's Row or to 150 South. So again, we have shared some thoughts, some ideas, some concerns with the town manager directly in regard to kind of what our opinion would be. I don't know that they're going to take any of that into consideration. Ultimately, it's up to the plan commission to decide whether or not they approve any of that. But yeah, those conversations have occurred with the town as far as meeting with the town manager to talk about some of that. So.
Yeah, they have several variances I believe they need for that. So.
Okay. You guys have any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Prescribed burn. I thought we.
Yeah, I know Laura already talked about it a little bit. I wanted to have it on here as well, just because, this is not something that we do all the time. And, everybody hears about a prescribed burn. And I think in a lot of people's minds, they're thinking like, oh, we're starting a wildland fire. Obviously, this is something, the reason we bring in a professional company to do this is to keep this as controlled as humanly possible. But if you are out at the PCAR area and you look at some of the growth and some of those natural grasslands that we have, inevitably we're going to get some of the invasives that are going to try to work in there as well. So I want to thank Laura and her team, not only setting this up to make sure that we're taking care of the property appropriately, but also making sure that the neighbors are in the loop on this, because we do have a lot of neighbors in that area around the PCAR area. And certainly we don't want anybody surprised with the fact that we're intentionally lighting, I will say, a field fire. That's not going to be to that extent, but we are going to be intentionally lighting some grasslands on fire in that area. But all of the, we are taking everything that we can do into account ahead of time to make sure that it is done appropriately and safely, so that way we're not going to get into anybody else's property, or certainly don't want to lose control of something like that. So I did want to make sure that it did get covered appropriately with you all, and you do have an understanding that not only are we notifying all the neighbors, but we are taking all the steps that we can to make sure that it is done the right way. So.
Good. Any questions?
No.
Okay. And then the last up, we have thank you letters from the 2025 community partners.
Yeah, we've received a couple letters here to the office recently in regard to some of the support that we've given different entities previously. One of the letters we did get from AEF talking about the number of people that come through the different programs there. I believe it's Supply It Forward is the one that we typically partner with them on. And so they broke down some numbers as to people they were able to help as a result of the funds that we provided to them last year. And then the other letter that we recently received came from Sheltering Wings. As we talked, I believe it was the beginning of this year. We did approve, or I was able to present to them some of the money that was approved previously by the board here in regard to trying to help them specifically with Washington Township residents that they do serve through their facilities, not only with directly with the temporary housing that they provide, but with some of the other resources that they are able to provide to families that are in distress or in need of their services. So I wanted to make sure that since those approvals come to the board, I wanted to make sure that you all had the opportunity to read the thank yous as a result of those approvals as well.
Good, thank you. Okay. Any public comment or wishes to be heard? Yes, sir.
Senate Bill 270 was signed by Governor Braun just a little earlier today. That is the Township mandatory merger bill. That should not directly affect you. It may indirectly affect you depending upon how things all play out in the next year or two with what I call the western crescent of the county. So something to watch and be mindful of, that the stronger the far west side of the county's public safety is, your western neighbor doesn't have to travel out there uncompensated so much. You don't have to travel so much to back your neighbor. So there's some domino effect. This was the preferred bill to the mandatory elimination bill, for which there may have been some involvement here, but no direct involvement. I've kind of mentally scored you, and I don't think you score on that, but I think you should watch, and perhaps you'll even be asked, or the conversation will come up. I think you'll see the activity perhaps in the western part of the county.
Yes, sir.
With that, on the financial side of it, I did talk to Jeff Peters yesterday. He thinks as they consolidate townships, a positive effect that could have is that the lit money doesn't have to be spread so much, because we've been pretty liberal about sending the lit money to the volunteer side versus bringing it back to the career side. So if they consolidate them, he said that could spread the lit, and also could leave extra lit around the county that could come back and directly affect general shares outside of police and fire, and maybe help bolster some of the finances here as well. So that would be a positive direct effect.
Yeah.
And if as it unfolds in the coming months, if the board would like some sort of info about it or presentation, let me know.
Okay.
I just gave and got some text about it being signed, and they said, hey, great job for all the hard work. And I think the hard work for a lot of people is starting. I mean, it's a process to go through and score, and DLGF give the math and determine who's a recipient, who is a possible merger candidate. I don't think you would receive anyone either. But some folks to the west may be receiving others. It just also depends too, just what the appetite of the county commissioners are to get deeply involved.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, especially on the fire side, about being in the middle of the area that we are with as much growth around us, getting pulled into all of the other districts. This might be the one time where it's advantageous for us being in the middle, because we do have some other townships that surround us that might play as more of a buffer to us to keep us from having to take over a smaller township that might not meet the scoring criteria that was written into this legislature.
You may see too, I think you'll see it in the state, and you may see it here. You may see some folks more so from SEA 1 just do something voluntarily. Just a couple of them get together just for the purposes of overhead. So I think that's entirely possible.
Yeah, and that's been previous conversation with Brown and Lincoln Township to the north of us. They've already been talking about the possibility of a voluntary merger on their own. So this might be something that even before their hand gets forced, they might just say, yeah, this makes more sense to do it that way. But that's obviously discussions that their boards are going to have to be involved in you can keep us free of that, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Any other comment or wish to be heard? All right. We just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 3:35.